Magnus Carlsen has been spanked 3 times this tournament. Once by Prague, once by Ali Reza, once by Wesley. Therefore, going into round 7 of Norway chess, he's got to do the spanking. Must win this classical game if he wants to fight for the title, but he's playing against Vincent Keimer, who's playing the rock steady knight f3. Magnus is already out of book. Can you believe it? He responds with knight f6 after a little think, and when Vincent goes g3, he's like, bro, you want to come at me with this kind of passive nonsense? Here we go. I'm going to play copycat variation. I'm going to also put the bishop into bed. And then I'm going to give you the centre and play the King's Indian defence. Magnus wants a fight here. What an exciting game this is. We now see knight c3 on the board. Rook e8 from Magnus, another long think here. He really has been investing that time in the early stages of the game, all through the tournament. Castles is played, and now bishop d7. Now that's really a slap of a wet fish to the face when you're looking at the opening and you're playing a move like that. Come on. Apparently Magnus discussed this with David Howell. He mentioned in the confessional, although he didn't mention David's name, David was crying a little bit about it, poor guy, but he got the credit afterwards. Magnus toying here with Vincent. Well, not exactly. White still stands a bit better, and Vincent now burning some clock back. 20 minutes he used on this bishop g5. Magnus chases it back. Bishop backing up here, and you could go all guns blazing, pawn g5, chase it back. Not today. Magnus just develops that seahorse there. This is what we know as a horse box, or many other names. I usually get quite a bit of help in the comments, but you get the idea. d5's played. What is going on with this move? Even Magnus Schwarzenegger does not approve of such a stinky knight on the edge.
Der Springer on dem Rimmer ist ein absolut Wiener Schnitzel.
But you do attack a pawn. You do provoke b3. Now Vincent's coach, Peter Lecko's loving it at this moment. An overpowered connect 4, has a little boogie, but it allows Magnus counterplay. Here he goes, breaking free like he's a member of Queen. Freddie Mercury on the board, and Vincent takes en croissant, bellows it in his best French accent. Bishop recaptures here, and Queen d2 sets up that battery. Sometimes you have to watch out for knight e4 stuff and tactics, but it was never working. You'd be given 2 minor pieces for a rook. Not what you want. King h7 covers the pawn. Now we see knight d4. White standing better for sure, but Magnus is getting a complex fight. He backs up to this favourite d7 square, and Vincent takes the centre of the board. Does blunt his own bishop, but still, that's a nice space gain. This is a stinky knight in Siberia. It heads back into the centre. Bishop e3 backing up, preparing to recapture here. a5, of course, modern move, blast off, undermine this structure. It's on the way. h3 first, standard idea. a4 now from Magnus, and hang on, that can be taken twice. You know, why not knight takes? This is the back cave, analysis mode. Well, the pawn drops in the centre. That knight was defending, and now there's not enough defenders. So you don't want to give up a flank for a central, and if you take with this one, well, now you can do this, and you've opened your bishop. Recaptured your pawn once more. Black's doing great. So pawn wasn't touched. We get instead knight c2. Has Vincent forgotten which way the pieces are supposed to move? You want to head forward, attack, 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 not build these nay stacks. But that's what he plays. Not the best. King h2 now looks natural, but Vincent goes pawn g4, and Magnus understands that he should trade these rooks on the a file and give the file. I mean, his understanding is just insanely deep, because he now goes h5, we get f3, g5 playable, just a different game. The knight backs off. Let's not go there. This is how things went. pawn recaptures, knight e5. And if you do this entire sequence, but without flicking in AB, and trading the rooks, then for whatever reason, the computer gives quite a decent advantage to white. It likes the 2 rooks on the board for the white side of things. When it's like this, it gives it roughly level. How do these guys know this stuff? So deep. Too deep for me. There's more wackiness on the way here. It's difficult to arrange the pawn breaks because g4 is so weak. This is playable, but then you get knight h5, right? You're giving squares. So Vincent goes rook f1, king g8, knight back to d4. I mean, why did it head back in the first place? Vincent's kind of tiptoeing around here. Feels like he's lacking a plan. Watch this. Magnus spinning the queen back around, and now knight d to e2. I got no idea. He's pogo sticking back and forth. What's going on? It just gets better with a mysterious rook move in a minute. Magnus backs off with the knight, trying to activate the queen. So Vincent shuts it down with the g-pawn here. No luck for you, sir. Magnus breaks out with the stinky pawn f6. Not a favourite move of Lord Hans Feingold, we must say. Opens the king, exposed, kilts lifted, but it was necessary to break out against the pawns. Knight d5. Finally some aggression, and Magnus backs off. Again, a weird looking move, but when I clicked, it looks to be connected with the fact that if you take straight away, queen recaptures with check. And then you could even nab a pawn potentially. So this stops all of that, and you're going to see another point. First, we get this mysterious rook move. I got no clue. If you understand that move, you're on the way to super grandmother. There's no two ways about it. It's inevitable. Your progress will come. Use Lotus Chess, of course, if you really want to speed it up. Link below. Had to get that one in. Knight takes is played here, and pawn recaptures. And although this looks like a connect 4, it's not. This is a big pawn here, hiding over there. Sneaky one. Pawn to see ships from Magnus. And this is a second point of knight f7. It defends this weakness, allows the pawn push. Vincent goes knight f4. I mean, I lose track of how many times that knight's bounced around now. Vincent's on a real journey. Queen f6 here. Rook f1. More mysterious chess. Rook a8's on the board, and takes is finally played. Pawn recaptures. This one nicely covered twice. If I could draw arrows, let's get rid of that one. Knight e2's played, and of course at this point the time's getting incredibly low. 8 minutes each. They're soon just going to be playing on increment. Magnus explodes things with the g-pawn, but Vincent, not to be outdone, roars like a mighty German chess lion, gains that space. Both players have now ripped apart the king cover, only the bishop to cover here. We get rook a1 from Magnus. Don't worry, he hasn't blundered. It's long range defended. Takes, queen takes check, queen c1 offers the exchange. Brave move against Magnus. He doesn't go for it. Magnus Carlsen wants queens on the board here. What is going on? Well, he wants to pressure. He's slightly better in this position, but it is slight. You know, the materials level. Vincent's defending really well. And before you can say, MC phone home, Vincent gains space with the pawn. This bishop now bounces around. King h2, king f8 on the board, and this one sliding round here. It's tense, it's cagey, no one's got time. The queen's checked a couple of times, or the king is rather. Steps up. Do you want a repetition? No, sir. Magnus is pushing hard now. However, there's a lot of pieces going into the blender. You're going to be doing well to win this one against a super duper grandmother like Vincent Keimer. Now this queen bounces round here, and we do indeed see the ladies going into the blender. This is the position, the final position. A draw was agreed here. Magnus about to recapture the pawn, and this is simply a dead drawn. Nothing much to say. So Magnus couldn't get the job done. Draw agreed. They therefore went to this Armageddon, as is customary at Norway chess. Magnus has less time, but if he draws, it counts as a win. Therefore, Vincent has to win. Magnus builds the pawn cube, also known as the pube. Vincent doesn't shave it. You normally should. Now there he goes. Finally shaves it. Knight c6, another horse box, takes, knight takes here, and there's a really critical moment about to approach here. Bishop b2's played. Vincent loves these kind of setups with the bishop on b2. There's a whole system named after him with this kind of e3, b3, c4, kg stuff. It's like a slow creeping opening, building into the game. He's bringing all the pieces, doing everything right here. Rook c8 on the board. It's been ages since we saw a rook tangle. Knight e4 from Magnus, and it is a mistake. What should white do? Very well done if you guessed queen takes on d5. No clue how that came to you. And it does work. It looks like you might be blundering because of all the pressure here. But no, if you try and win that piece, this is how the line goes. And at the end of it all, when the smoke clears, white's just a pawn ahead. There is no back rank, mate. The bishop covers the square. This rook can activate, but the pawn can be saved, and you're fine. You're not mated. The king can snuggle out, that's not the word, wiggle out, or you can give some luft. And you also want to check here, but not just yet. Don't blunder a piece. So you should take. Vincent trusts Magnus though, the Magnus effect, and does this. Now watch this. It turns into one of the biggest lame ducks when it comes to trying to win a game of chess that we've seen in a long time. Opposite coloured bishops, your king can't move, and the black rook is active. That is not what you want. Even though you're a pawn ahead, this is hopeless. I mean, if anything, black can push for a win, but of course Magnus is chilling. Just simply builds a nice little banana hammock, tucks the king into bed, and there is just nothing to say here. The draw was agreed. It's absolutely hopelessly drawn. Whose move is it? Black to move. You can take with check. It's 4 on 4, opposite coloured bishops. You're not quite mated, by the way, and that's a drawn game. So Magnus gets the half point, but he's struggling. If I back it up here, let's have a quick look at the standings, results, and you can see Wesley's leading the way. Ali in second, Ali Reza, then Magnus, Vincent, Prague, all in the middle on 9 points, and Gukesh D bringing up the rear, 7 points, struggling for a world champion. Hope you enjoyed this one. Have a look at the video on screen if you want to see some more epic chess, and I hope to see you again soon. Cheers.